Zani is here at last, so let's talk about her. My name is Juice, and let's get into it. So, Zani. While Carlotta was my most looked forward to rinascita character whenever all of the new cast members were initially revealed, this splendid ram lady did indeed catch my eye. I was intrigued by her. I thought her design looked really cool, and she gave off a strong aura. My opinion of her only improved over time as I had the pleasure of enjoying her presence in this story, which I personally enjoyed a lot. Huge kudos to our English voice actor, as I play the story in English. I really enjoyed the performance. Incredibly unique voice that suits Zani perfectly. So I've been looking forward to this character for quite some time. I've only come to love her more and more as time has went on. My decision to pull for her became solidified after seeing how gorgeous her 3D model looked in the story. Now we finally have the pleasure of witnessing her drip marketing. Kuro Games, you have seriously outdone yourselves this time. Like, holy heck, this is something else. The artistry is something to marvel at. I absolutely love the entire composition here. Zani herself in the middle is looking as intimidatingly cool as ever, radiating nothing but pure, unfiltered, raw aura. Then you take a look at the back to see that there's a Zani with flaming hair or something of a sort. It appears to be glowing as well. I don't know about you, but to me, that suggests that there's a little something more going on here. I'd like to point out that her horns are glowing with light too, and while we don't see the front of this more different Zani, she seems to be wearing a different outfit as well. This just makes me even more excited as to what her kit is going to end up looking like, because it's clear to me that her kit is going to be a surprising treat. I'd like to add that I absolutely adore all aspects of this character design. Personally, I greatly enjoy when designs feature some animalistic features, so the large horns appeal to me a lot. Horns are some of my favorite things ever when it comes to character design. The addition of a tail is excellent too. I hope Kuro makes more units like this in the future. There's a lot of room for some really interesting designs when you incorporate this sort of thing into them. As for what she might end up doing, as it currently stands, it's pretty much anyone's guess. However, I would like to point out how this secret form behind her is literally covered in blinding yellow light, and Spectro Frazzle got spotlighted not too long ago, so I think it's safe to say that she's going to be a Spectro character. She also regularly appears next to Phoebe in the main story, which leads me to believe that these two are connected, so I'm gonna work under the assumption that she's Spectro. Hopefully that prediction ages well. You see, Spectro Frazzle got spotlighted back when Phoebe initially released. She's a good character in my opinion. Very good, dare I say. Her DPS mode is able to put in some very good work for sure. However, I'd like to draw your attention to her support mode. This still currently doesn't have any realistic applications in-game yet. You have no reason to utilize her as a Spectro Frazzle applicant. Now, is she absolutely stellar at that role? Absolutely, but it just simply has no purpose as of now. If Zani is indeed a Spectral unit, then I expect that she's most likely going to be the missing piece of the puzzle here. You see, Phoebe's supportive confession state mode would be really strong for a main carry that's able to consume stacks of Frazzle, or really enjoy a unit that applies a whole lot of it. So this leads me to believe that she's going to be an on-field DPS that uses Phoebe as a support. I wouldn't worry too much if you don't have a copy of the Acolyte. Currently, Spectre Rover is the only Frazzle applicant in-game as of making this video, and he supports DPS mode Phoebe without any issues whatsoever. I see no reason to believe that Rover won't serve as a perfectly good free-to-play replacement for Phoebe for all future Spectral Frazzle main DPS characters. I would assume that Kuro is probably going to want to make Zani as accessible as possible, considering how popular the unit is. Pretty much everyone has said how much they want this character. I don't think I know a single person who isn't pulling for her. They seriously managed to cook up a character that everybody at the very least is interested in. To be honest, Zani's release is gonna feel like an event in of itself. Think about it. Wuthering Waves 2.3 is the anniversary patch, the celebration of 1 full year of Wuthering Waves. That is indeed something worth celebrating in my opinion. So what better banner to run during that time than this much beloved exhausted banker lady? If Zani does end up being a main DPS, I'm assuming that she'd be completing the line of Spectral Frazzle shield that Kuro has been doing. The final piece of the puzzle, if you will. Obviously, Kuro wouldn't be done with that particular negative status permanently. However, they'd probably move on to the others afterwards. My guess is that Arrow Erosion is next on the chopping block, seeing as Arrow Rover got released this patch. Now, is there a chance of her potentially being a support? To be honest with you, I don't think that's likely to happen for a couple of reasons. For starters, why would Kuro make another Spectral support when Phoebe's confession mode is right there? Sure, we could very well enjoy the addition of a Spectral judge to the game. After all, Jinchi would nicely benefit from that. However, I don't think that'd be Kuro's main focus as of now. It's pretty obvious that negative statuses aren't finished yet, and considering the sheer popularity of Zani, and how Spectral Rover is a free unit that literally everybody has access to right from the start of the game, I think it'd make sense to go in the Frazzle direction. Let's delve into this a little further. You see, one issue I personally have when I play Phoebe and Spectral Rover is the annoyance of having to constantly reapply Spectral Frazzle with Rover and Multiwave. It's obviously never been a deal breaker to me. This isn't some game-ending issue I have, but I think it'd be nice if there was some way that Zani could make this archetype feel a little more multi-wave friendly. I do actually wonder how Kuro is going to handle that, if that's something that they plan on tackling. Rover has a fun little aspect of his kit, where he can actually extend the duration of spectral frazzle stacks by 9 seconds via his Forte circuit. I think it'd be cool if Zani had something built into your kit that could do something similar, or perhaps you could even maintain stacks during her rotation, all just some general food for thought. If she does end up being good in multi-wave, then it also means that she'd be pretty solid in Whimpering Wastes. This game mode is still quite new to people, and we haven't had a ton of character releases since the mode came out yet, so most accounts are still very TOA-centric in terms of how they're geared up. Making one of the most popular rinascita characters an answer to Whimpering, while still having them be strong in TOA, would be an excellent way of satisfying every player under the sun. We've seen through units like Camellia how useful being universally strong across game modes is for your account in terms of pull value. It's just something that I'd personally like to see with her. Considering that she's releasing during the anniversary patch, I'm not sure what to expect in the way of story. 2.2 felt pretty conclusive to me. For those of you who've done it, I don't know about you, but that did feel like the main conflict of rinascita being resolved from how I saw it. Point is, I'm expecting 2.3's story to most likely be some lighthearted celebratory filler, considering how it'll mark a full year of the game's existence. Either way, I do look forward to seeing what our goated banker has been doing behind the scenes. See what I did there? Hilarity. Anyways, I doubt that Kuro was gonna fumble with her kit. To be honest, I feel like they've done a great job with the entire cast so far in terms of gameplay feel. There's not been any character that I've picked up and didn't enjoy in terms of gameplay. It's been banger after banger. They really knocked it out of the park with Brand's gameplay in my opinion. Easily the most fun to play rinascita character. I see no reason as to why they're not gonna knock it out of the park with Zani's playstyle either. I did really enjoy Phoebe's launch. Her animations are neat, plus I found her gameplay to be intuitive and powerful. Also, as an avid Changli enjoyer, I enjoy the swap window that opens up whenever you do Phoebe's Absolution DPS mode charge attack. Spectral Frazzle is a whole lot of fun to play around with for sure. I hope that with Zani, they end up making her kit a little bit more complex, so she has a higher skill ceiling than other characters. I doubt that they'd make her too complicated because she's so popular, and a wide variety of players are gonna want her. But as a Changli main, I personally prefer characters that are a little bit more complex in nature, so even if they make her easy at a baseline but with a very high ceiling to reach, I'd be one happy camper. I do think that, to touch on my earlier sentiment of not believing that she'd become a support, there is one exception to this rule. Phoebe's also able to be a DPS, and if they don't want to completely remove DPS Phoebe from the meta due to redundancy, then they could give Zani a dual kit, so that you yourself could choose who to use on field. However, we'll have to see what the Goat Banker specialty ends up being then, because they could easily coexist if they specialized in different areas, but I wouldn't hold my breath waiting for that, as while it's a possibility, I do feel like Zani is just going to take over as the game's new best Spectral Frazzle DPS. Obviously, that statement has zero weight to it, because we have nothing officially confirmed yet about the Goat Banker lady's kit. For all we know, she might not even deal in Frazzle, but I do think that the likelihood of her preferring support mode Phoebe is high. In any case, we'll be able to tell in due time. As it stands, we're merely playing around with guesswork at the moment. So, needless to say that my hopes are high for Zani. This excellent drip certainly gets my hopes up, as it looks like Kuro's teasing something big within her kit with that unique looking second Zani in the back. I know that a release is going to absolutely fuel the Wuthering Waves community like crazy, and I can't wait to see everybody go nuts over this character. The anniversary in general is a super big deal. Kuro's put in a lot of fantastic work into the game ever since its release. Great job to the lovely people at Kuro that continue to develop this masterpiece that we all enjoy playing. I really don't have anything negative to say as of now. Looking forward to Kuro's official reveal of all of her kit's most juicy details. I'm expecting big things. In terms of personal pulling plans, I've been looking forward to this character for a while, so getting at least a copy of her is definitely in order. I'm gonna try to get her weapon as well. Whether I swipe for it or not is gonna depend on how cool it looks. If I'm correct and Phoebe ends up being good for her in some way, shape, or form, I have her at S0 or 1, so that's team building essentially sorted out on my part. Here's hoping that I can actually win a 50-50 for once, because oh boy, have I lost a shocking amount of those recently. I think it's fair to call Zani an absolute game breaker of a unit in terms of popularity. She is incredibly sought after, and I can understand why. The woman simply radiates infinite aura. It's gonna be an absolute blast to analyze her kit once Kuro Games officially reveals it. The 2.3 livestream is something that I'm hyped up for in general, seeing as I'll be cooking up the game's anniversary patch. Perhaps with all the potential freebies we're gonna get, I'll be able to secure a copy of Zani even if I do end up losing the 50-50. Oh well, only time is gonna tell in that regard. Really cool unit though. She's gonna bring a whole wave of hype to the game that I'm really thrilled to witness. She was easily the most popular rinascita character during the initial drip marketing phases, and now that she's finally been teased for version 2.3, I can only see the hype getting stronger from here. Good job Kuro Games on this unit. Do you intend to pull for Zani? Let me know down below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, I have a ZZZ second channel. Head on over and subscribe if you're interested in some fun, silly ZZZ content. I'd also like to mention that I stream on Twitch. I stream once a week every week on Saturdays, starting from 3 PM UK time. Come along so that we can play Wuthering Waves, ZZZ, and do some other fun stuff together. Hopefully this video was able to feed you some excitement for Zani. This has been Juice, signing out, and here's hoping that we can all secure ourselves at least a Zani and her weapon without having to pay a visit to the Alvarado bank ourselves.